The Pharmacy and Poisons Board wishes to advise the general public against the use of a product known as, quote, Yoni pearls, which may also be referred to as vaginal detox pearls, herbal tampons, cleansing pearls, or vaginal pearls. The PPB notifies the public that the Yoni pearl is the PPB notifies the public that Yoni pearls is neither registered nor authorized for use in Kenya as required under the Pharmacy and Poisons Act, and that is Cap 244. Therefore, their usage poses potential public health risks, as the PPB cannot guarantee their quality, safety, or efficacy. In light of this, the PPB strongly advises against the distribution, supply, sale, or use of the aforementioned product and any other unregistered products with similar claims. So, Dr. Pam, now that I have you in studio, just a reminder what her title is. Dr. Pam is, again, Pharmacovigilance Specialist, Pharmacy and Poisons Board, so she can speak with authority on this particular statement. Dr. Pamela Nambwa. Dr. Nambwa, what prompted the release of this statement?
Thank you very
and
much,
Karibu.
Olive. Yeah, thank you so much. Glad to be here this morning. PPB responds to a number of issues. Could be queries from the public, could be a concern raised by different stakeholders, and also as PPB we do what you call horizon scanning, where you just we have members, part of us who are members of the social media platforms, so we get to hear these concerns in the public. So Yoni is not new. It didn't start yesterday. I think we've had these discussions going on in social media, but there is a threshold where now PPB will respond. So we've had a few calls from clients just asking about Yoni pearls, but we've not received any report of adverse effect. So I think the threshold was the article that was published recently by NTV that prompted now PPB to just warn the public that this is not a registered product, and they have to be cautious when using products that they don't know about, you know, the origin, whether it is registered. We don't know about the safety of this product, the efficacy, and also the quality. So yeah,
okay.
The threshold was the publication by the by
NMG Nation Media Group.
Yeah.
And the person in question is Agatha, and here she is, Agatha Gishana. I had pulled up the article. You can find it on nation.africa. The Yoni pearl craze inside online health scams. When I pulled up the article and this image popped up, my director Jackie Alusi was like, Allah, what is that? Well, it's a compilation of different things. I can see the Yoni pearl on the side here, the eggs representing the ovaries, and yeah, so there we go. Yoni pearl, the caption reading, Yoni pearl's popularity is driven by aggressive influencer marketing and algorithms of social media platforms, and you mentioned the online space. But Agatha, what prompted this article? Or should I begin with those who are hearing of this and they're wondering, what is this Yoni pearls we're talking about? Maybe you can give us an indication.
Okay, I think it's better for us to start with, first of all, what are Yoni pearls? So Yoni pearls, as they are popularly advertised on social media, are just like tea bag of sorts, where you have natural ingredients. At least that is what these Instagram retailers or social media marketers are purporting them to be. So they're just sachets. Just think of them as just sachets, like a tea bag, sort of, that you'd have, that the woman is advised to insert up her vaginal tract. So they're marketed to be a miracle cure for infertility, effects of menopause, painful menstrual cramps, or even recurrent yeast infections. So they've become quite popular on the social media space.
So it's, you know, it's marketed as a cure-all.
Yes, a cure of all reproductive health concerns.
Okay, first of all, that for me is the first red flag. Actually, I did Google it, and I saw it addresses everything from thrush to UTIs and everything in between. I was like, okay, itching. So what's contained in the sachet, if you would know?
Okay, so from the Instagram retailers that we've managed to sample, from the Instagram influencers, from the YouTube content creators. So basically what they're saying is they contain natural ingredients. Some of them have been highlighted by the article. Some include motherwort. Some of them are scientific. You have a lay person would not be able to really ascertain what kind of natural ingredient that they're talking about. But the fact that they're marketed as natural ingredients is part of the allure that makes them seem like a safe product to use for women. Yeah.
Okay. And does the packaging have a list of ingredients?
Okay, the packaging has a list of ingredients for some of the retailers, but for most of them, it just comes as a sachet of like just white little pearls that you're just advised to insert up your vagina. So in case you need more information on that, most of the time you'd find them on Instagram highlights. So they'll just tell you they contain this and this and that. But if you look at the actual sachet, there's some retailers that would list the ingredients, but then some retailers would not list the ingredients. So it just depends on your purchasing power and you purchase from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's ask Dr. Rita. Have you heard, did you hear about this? Have you heard about it before?
Yeah, I've heard about Yoni before. And it's a concern to us. Yeah, I think it's something that the article that came out was just a prompt, because now then that's a publication. That's something going to the general public. When an individual comes to you and tells you they're using Yoni Pearl, you then get to talk to them one-on-one. But then when it gets to a newspaper, then we get concerned, yeah? Then this is something that we need to address. This is something that it's getting out there, and people are now going to be more curious about it, and we'll have more people looking into it, yeah? So it's something that is in the market, yes, unregistered, but yes, we are aware it's there, and it's something that we've been advocating against.
Advocating against. So you'll tell us why you've been advocating against it. And also in studio, we have Dr. Nelly. Dr. Nelly Nagas, I mentioned earlier, is a pharmacist. Karibu sana to the Nation Media Group and the NTV studios. Have you heard about it before, these Yoni pearls?
Not the Yoni pearls specifically, but a lot of purported, feminine and vaginal health products. Actually, we have studies are being conducted, and there's one particular study conducted among 1,500 people, and 95% of them actually reported to using, various kinds of feminine products, which, these Yoni pearls actually falls in that category. Yeah, but sadly, actually, you find that the use of these vaginal products increases your chance of getting, vaginal infections like vaginosis 3 times more than a person who hasn't used these purported vaginal hygiene products. Yeah.
Interesting, given that they cure everything, that it would now make you,
that
you're 3 times more likely to get
Exactly.
vaginosis if you use the Yoni pearl. So I want us to take a break, and then now we come back more substantively with the discussion. When we come back, I'll quickly look at the Healthy Nation, given we're discussing health matters, just highlight a few stories. It's not the first time Yoni has come up. Leon Lidigu shared a couple of articles, I think, that were done in 2021 on the same subject, but it seems there's still curiosity on this, a lot of curiosity around this issue. We have a gynae in a studio. We also have 2 pharmacovigilance specialists and a pharmacist in studio as well. If you have questions, I don't know, Jackie, do we have a line that they can call? All right, so when we come back, we'll have that number for you. You can tweet us at @NTV Kenya. If it's on Facebook, I'll ask my colleague, and that is Marvin, to forward me those messages.
Gathe anakuhanya. Nilimwona na malaika.
Gathe, unajua na miss ule msimbaya.
Umemjua Makarios for how long?
Mimi usimjui afisa. Last chance kijana.
Who runs this drug business? Na nitamgetaje?
On my dark marks, I've tried everything from A to Z, even vitamin C, but hardly any results. Nivea Lumina 630 works from day one, with visible results in just 2 weeks and 71% dark marks reduction in 12. Join the 1 million women already using the #1 Lumina 630 from Nivea.
Do not hold back in any situation. Eno gets to work on the 6 symptoms of heartburn fast.
You do know you said all of that out loud, right?
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Centum Real Estate offers you an opportunity to own a home at the Two Rivers Development, Mzizi Court Residence. Talk to us today on 0703 262626 or text 2 Rivers to 22365.
All right, I just want to highlight a couple of health stories and we continue with the conversation. Daily Nation, page 14, HIV infections fall as Nyanza and Rift Valley lead in positive cases. Health official says scaling up of prevention programs is bearing fruit in curbing infections. As I mentioned, this particular report is by Leon Lidigo. And he says the number of new HIV infections in the country dropped from 34,540 to 22,154 in 2022, according to the latest findings by the National Syndemic Disease Control Council. And so some good news there. You can find it on page 14 of the Daily Nation. And looking at the Healthy Nation as promised, this is it. The barriers women with disabilities encounter when accessing sexual and reproductive health services. They have that on pages 4 and 5 of the pullout. Medical condition that would make you wish for death. I've seen that one is penned by Dr. Nelly Bosire. There's also something on pregnancy after 40, the odds and risks to expect, and Marquette's centuries-old furrow still serving farmers. So if you flip through, you will find those articles contained therein. And yeah, so I will leave that there. I just thought, given we're discussing health matters, this morning, it would be good to make mention of what is contained in the Healthy Nation. Okay, so back to the subject at hand. If you're just joining us, we're discussing intimate feminine hygiene products, vaginal health, and keeping the public safe. So Agatha, back to you now. What prompted this latest article on the Yoni beads and, just inside online health scams? This, I am assuming, was the entry point.
Yes, yes. I think, as been earlier mentioned by the doctors, that the Yoni pulse is something that is not very new in the Kenyan market. It has been there. But what we're seeing from the mid-2020 to 2021, there's been an upsurge of a social media trend of vaginal detoxification. And like I highlighted in the article, this is influenced by aggressive social media marketing, which is one of the factors that when I mention inside online health scams, it's because right now there's a sort of aggressive agenda that is being driven by social media, influencers, or even online platforms themselves, because this kind of content is being amplified by social media algorithms. So you find someone, a content creator with as much as 1 million followers, telling their audiences that this is something that you can use. And remember, we are talking about a country where there's limited access to reproductive health care information, and there's also limited access to reproductive health care as well. So if I'm going to scroll through my Instagram feed, if I'm going to scroll through my Facebook page, and there's an influencer there who is telling me, you know what, you can purchase these Yoni pearls for as low as 600 shillings and it's going to take care of all your reproductive health care concerns, as opposed to visiting a healthcare facility where some of the prices might be prohibitive for most of the Kenyan women. So what we are seeing right now, although they've been there, but right now they're being pushed very aggressively on social media platforms, which is this is what prompted me to write the articles, because I feel like right now there's a lot of Kenyan women at risk because of these so-called social media influencers and people who purport themselves to be experts in the reproductive health care field.
All right, so there are a couple of cases you've highlighted in this particular report. How did you come across these people who've tried it and for them to open up and share their experiences?
Well, that was quite tough because, you know, as women, we are quite, you know, very private about our reproductive health care concerns. There's also a lot of stigma surrounding reproductive health care. If you're suffering from infertility, if you're suffering from recurrent yeast infections, that is something that is not usually very, you know, talked about openly in society. It's part of the stigma, which is what I feel like also leads to the use of such products. But then I was able to talk to one of the pages that sells these products, where I posed as someone who is interested in purchasing the products. So I told them I'm not quite sure. So if they could point me to the direction of someone who has used them before, and then they can advise me so that I might make a decision on whether to purchase or not. So that's how I got the link to the source. And when I talked to the source, so I told them, you know, I've been having these concerns. I've had recurrent yeast infections. So I've been told by this particular page that you also were going through the same. So what has been your experience? So basically that's how I found the source. Then later on, I revealed that this is something that I'd like to share with other people, especially when I learned that she had had adverse effects. She told me she thought it worked. But then come to think of it, because she used the products early in 2020. But then now, you know, after the fact, after, you know, thinking about it later on, she said that she didn't want to use the products again. And she didn't think that it was because of the product that the yeast infections were just stopped recurring in general. And one of the issues that she mentioned also is that when she first started using them, she would feel a pulling effect within her vaginal tract. So at that point, she thought that was what cleansing was. And then there was also a lot of discharge, and some of the discharge would also contain a lot of blood clots. So at the time when she didn't have a lot of information, she thought that it worked. And that is what informed her to even continue using it for a period of 6 days. But then at this point, she informed me that is not something that should
advise
use
them.
it, yeah, should be using again. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious because I also Googled, and this time I'll ask Dr. Rita to come in at this point. I Googled the Yoni pearls, and so it suggested at the end of the search, the images search, that I can look at also Yoni pearls results, and. Let's just say it was a good thing I had not just eaten. So when people like what Agatha is talking, the experience she's just shared from somebody else, when you see, you know, the discharge has increased, those are some of the images that I saw as well, the clots as well, somebody would imagine, okay, it's working.
That's not the case. That's not how you tell when a medication is working. And I think my colleagues, the pharmacists on board here would agree with that. That's not how we assess whether medication is working or not. If your discharge is increasing, I would be concerned as your gynecologist, yeah? If you're having blood clots, I would be concerned. That's not how the body cleanses itself. The way the feminine body is made is in such a way that the vagina gets to clean itself. This is a foreign body that you've inserted into the vagina, and because of that, your body will react to it, yeah? Yes, you have what you call, there's increased discharge, because this is a foreign body, yeah? So you have what you call leukorrhea, like increased discharge from the cervical glands, from the vaginal wall, and it is not that the medication is helping you cleanse your body. God has made the feminine, the reproductive system in such a way that it's able to cleanse itself, and you don't have to
wash it out with any product, yeah? And when you have discharge, it's not that your body, it's not like the way you'd, sorry to use this example, you'd vomit and you feel like the content of your stomach is out. When you have discharge, you need to see a professional. We need to get to see what's going on. Discharge is normal at certain times of the cycle, your menses, there's normal discharge. But then there are certain types of discharge that we tell you, no, if you notice this, please come to us. Full-smelling discharge, brownish discharge. If you feel the color has changed, the amount is changing, the pattern with which it comes is also changing. These are things that we look at. But the fact that you use a product and the discharge increases or you notice clots, that's something that I would be concerned for my patient if my patient raised that concern. So that's not a measure of the product working. That's actually a red flag. That's a concern as a gynecologist.
That's a concern.
That's a serious concern.
But then, I know this is probably going to sound like an oxymoron, right?
Yeah.
But if the vagina is self-cleansing, as we often hear, then why do we get these infections?
Yes. So that's something that I think, Olive, I think we need to look at this issue differently. What's the knowledge gap? And I think that's a serious concern here. We have a knowledge gap. And like Agatha mentioned, people do not have information about their reproductive health. Yeah, sexual and reproductive health, it's a concern that most women are not able to get the right information. They would get it from their feeds and all that. Then just to get back to your question, the infections that you get are because of multifactorial, like they're multifactorial because of so many factors involved, yeah? Sometimes it's about the hygiene down there. Yeah. Sometimes it's about your general immunity. Are you immunocompromised in any way? Is your immunity suppressed in any way? Are you having uncontrolled diabetes? Are you having HIV and you're not on treatment for it? So are you on steroids? Is your immunity compromised in any way? Are you on other medications that then alter the pH of the vagina? Because the vagina has a specific pH. So are you on medications that alter that? Are you on medications that kill the normal organisms, the normal flora in the vagina? So there are so many factors that would make a woman to have recurrent infections or to get infections. Even as simple as just self-hygiene, how you clean yourself when you use the bathroom, let's say for a long call. We train girls from a very young age. Try clean yourself from forward, backward. It's a very simple thing, but you'll realize it saves you from a lot of these infections. So I would say there's no one answer to why women get infections, but then there are so many factors that contribute to a woman getting recurrent infections. And all these infections can be looked at by a healthcare professional, by a gynecologist or a doctor, and we are able to assess. And one thing that people don't realize is, from your article, people are mentioning they're scared of coming to doctors because they'll be put on medication. That's not how it works. What happens if you're having discharge, yeah? Then I will take what we call a swab. Yes, I will take a swab of that discharge. I will examine you, take a swab of that discharge, send it to the lab. And that is where they come in, because then we are able to test what we call sensitivity, like the organism that we've cultured in the lab. What is it? What medications is it sensitive to? So people, I don't think they should be scared of coming to us because we'll prescribe medications. The medications that are being prescribed are as a result of research, as a result of the cultures that we've done on the specimen. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Nelly, Dr. Rita says the discharge is caused by a foreign body, right? Inserting a foreign body into your vagina. Am I using the correct terminology here? You know, terminology is very sensitive.
Yes.
The general term is...
Yeah, you insert it into the vagina.
Into the vagina.
Yeah.
But even if I had a thrush infection, I don't know what the medical term is for that, the thing that you put into.
Pessaries. Pessaries, yeah.
That one. Isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, so, yeah, pessaries are, they're medication. It's actually, it's a carrier, yeah, of a medication that you'll be given. So it will probably contain an antimicrobial or an antifungal that you actually use. And it's, you are advised to put it in your vagina because, one, that's where the infection is, and secondly, the vaginal epithelia is very permeable. So, it's very thin, and therefore drugs get absorbed into the body very fast. Yeah, but then you find that when you're inserting the pessary, one, of course, it's a medication, and secondly, there's guidance on how to use this medication. So there's an applicator that you're advised to use. It actually comes with the medication. You're also, the leaflet contains instructions instructions of how you should wash your hands after you use the applicator to insert the pessary, you know, how you should clean it for the next use, because you might actually find yourself reinfecting yourself with that applicator, because you might use it to put the pessary, then you put it, you know, you just place it anyhow, and then the next time you come with your dirty hands, use the same applicator to apply the pessary, and then you worsen your condition. So even when you're using these medications like pessaries, there are hygienic protocols that you should follow. You know, and what Doc is saying, that actually some of the causes of these infections are hygiene. You know, they are all, you know, it goes down to how you're cleaning yourself, what you're wearing. Are you wearing breathable clothing? You know, and actually another thing, you know, apart from this pessary, you see all these feminine hygiene products, they actually contain, you know, studies indicate that they contain a lot of harmful products, including allergens, things like carcinogens, and even things that alter your hormones. Yeah. So not only Yoni pearls, but there are so many feminine products out here, you know, so you're taking them to cleanse yourself, but you're actually putting yourself at risk. And all these chemicals, because the vagina mucosa is very thin, they'll get absorbed into your body and, you know, even cause other diseases. Yeah.
Okay. And Dr. Pam, I'm coming to you, but just a quick follow-up, Dr. Rita. Tampons are foreign objects, and we insert them. Yeah.
I knew that was coming. But then, how do you use tampons? Yeah, when you talk to a gynecologist, when you talk to a doctor to guide you, how you change your tampons. People get infections from tampons. The people who forget tampons for 2 days in there, you'd be surprised by the kind of things you'll meet out here if you just get to ask women about their reproductive health. But then it's about how you use it. Yeah, how frequently do you change it? Yeah, that is something that you will remember. You'll be like, oh, 4 hours down the line, I think it's fully stocked, I need to get this thing out. How you remove it, how you insert the next one. Because yeah, like she said, just like the applicator, if you use dirty hands, if you're not careful how you're inserting it, you'll still get infections from the tampons. So then it's about how you use it. It's about the hygiene around that place when you're using it. Yes, so it's not, you know, we don't know what is in Yoni pearls and all these feminine products. And I think that is where the concern from the Pharmacists and Poisons Board is also coming from. We don't know what is inside it. I can tell you tampons would be probably cotton, made into a tampon, right? Yes, the same way you'd use a pad or something. But then I don't know what is in Yoni pearl. I don't know what is in these vaginal detox products. And that is the main concern here. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, just quickly addressing my producer and my director, Jackie. Do we have the phone number up? Because I'm being called directly. Yeah, by those who have my number. So if you can just put the phone number up, because I can't take a call on my phone. Yes, Dr. Pam, and just quick follow-up. Can a tampon get lost? Because you said, can it get lost up the tract? Because you said some people forget it for up to 2 days.
No, it doesn't get lost. We can get it. It's just that some people are different, and people's also mental states are also different. Someone can forget it. The same way you'd forget your phone in a restaurant and walk out, there are people who can forget that there was a tampon, especially the last few days of their periods. Like they forget it is inside the vagina. But actually when you get to a gynecologist or a doctor and we get to examine, then we can just pull it out, yeah. So it's just right in the vagina. You know, the structure of the reproductive system is such that the cervix is closed, yeah? The cervix, people assume it's a patent tract going all the way to the uterus. No, the cervix is closed. Like it's a natural defense mechanism. There's a plug on the cervix is usually closed, yeah? So then whatever you're inserting there is lying in this space, in the vaginal space. And the vagina has a way in which it collapses its walls in attempt to protect you, like a natural defense mechanism. It's not a hollow tract looking at you like this, yeah? The walls collapse, yeah? So whenever you insert something, it will lie there, as long as it's not something being absorbed, yeah? So like medications will be absorbed into the body. Things like cotton will not be absorbed, and that's what like tampons are made of. So it will lie there. It's just that you forget to remove it, yes, and then you probably come with infection, because now that's like needles for infection, bacteria growing on whatever it is. So then we just remove it and put you on medication, yeah. But it's not it getting lost. Okay. It's probably you forgot the tampon in there. Probably the last few days of the cycle when the menses are very scanty, yes.
All right. So, Dr. Pam, perhaps you can tell us at which point the PPB can come in, right? Like in terms of your mandate, because as you've heard from Dr. Rita, Dr. Nelly, Agatha, there are many products out there in the market. So your purview extends to what exactly?
So for PPB, we come in when product has a medical claim. And I think we can agree that when these products, the Yonis and the likes, when they start coming into the market, they don't come with the medical claims initially. First, they come as a cleansing. So there is no medical claim attached to it. So then PPB has no mandate to regulate a product that has no medical claim. So when you get complaints later on, that's when now we come in and conduct investigations to try and find out what exactly is in this product. Currently, as we speak, that is what is ongoing. We also do what you call mystery shopping because at times when someone sees that this is PPB coming, then they will hide the product. So what happens is we have people we have a department called Drug Crime Investigation in Pharmacy and Poisons Board. So they will go out as mystery shoppers, get these products, go to the laboratory, and try to find out what is contained in it. It reminds me of a discussion we had some time back over the China, was it a Chinese herbal pill? Again, same stories. And it's very interesting. And I think this notion of for business, if you want your product to sell, then you need to target women. I think it's very true because most of the time you find that it's women who are targeted. So we don't have the results yet, but once we get the results, this will be released to find out what exactly is contained in these Yoni pearls. So if a product has a medical claim, then PPB has a mechanism of how to regulate the same. And the stakeholders are expected to do an application to apply for registration of their products in the market. And so there are guidelines that PPB has put in place to guide the relevant stakeholders who want to register their products in the market. And there are documents that will be expected of them to submit. And in these documents, you will actually realize that section of the documents will be talking about clinical trial studies that were conducted on this product. So they'll be looking at the safety, the efficacy, and the quality of this product. So our mandate comes in when you start having a medical claim for a product. As it is currently, PPB is trying to also regulate the herbal products. And you'll find that most of the herbal products that are genuine and have a medical claim have actually been registered with PPB. So we are still having hide and seek with these herbal products that really don't have, you cannot ascertain the real content of what is actually in the product. So it's still a gap for us. We are still working towards trying to see how we can be able to regulate these herbal products. And I think the challenge, again, as we've been saying, is we've had an issue with government regulations where we have the herbalist trying to hide themselves in the Ministry of, Ministry of Gender, Traditional something, and there's a ministry that is separate, that these herbalists that have no content of what the product they're marketing actually hide themselves in. But actually the real herbal products that are genuine are actually registered with Pharmacy and Poisons Board. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So our mandate comes in when you have a medical claim. Yeah.
When you have when the product has a medical claim.
When the product has a medical claim.
Yeah, because I saw the statement and the wording was, here we go, poses potential public health risks. So you're saying you're testing it as we speak.
So what happens is when the investigations are done, part of investigation is collection of samples, and these samples will then go to the lab. So I want to believe that at the end of this investigation, then we'll have samples go to the lab, and we'll have to get the content of what is contained in these Yoni pearls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me come back to you, Agatha. So in the anecdotal evidence you collected, you talked about, for some, the draw is the natural, it's natural tag. But is it also a case of self-medication? Were people not comfortable going to the doctor and feeling like they would be exposed?
It's part of that, and I thank Dr. for mentioning it. This is part of a reason why these specific products are marketed towards women, because there's a lot, when you look at our society and the gender dynamics, there's a lot of pressure that is put on women to maintain a healthy reproductive health system, because that is part of the reason why they can have healthy relationships in the case of infertility issues, or maybe even successful relationships, because if you have issues with your reproductive health care, and you have yeast infections, maybe there's a funky smell down there because of that. So there's a lot of societal pressure that is placed on women specifically to maintain a healthy reproductive health care. This is why a lot of these products like the Yoni pearls are targeted towards women. Now, when it comes to, what exactly have you asked me?
Fear of exposing.
Yes, so so the stigma and the societal pressure that is placed on women is part of the reason why they go for such products. Apart from that, there is also the fear of being, judged by people who serve in the medical field, because if you have a recurrent yeast infection and you keep going to the same doctor over and over again, which is why the woman that I talked to told me that she didn't want to go back to the same gynecologist. She didn't want to get antibiotics. And, there's also that shame that comes with being with a woman when you have a recurrent yeast infection. And sometimes there are also stereotypes that link that to, promiscuity amongst women. So this is part of just limited sexual and reproductive health information. And I'd also peg it on aggressive in social media marketing. And I think that the people who are propagating such products are doing it for commercial gain, basically. There's nothing really there's no scientific backing to back such claims. And I think women are just a vulnerable group that are just easily targeted because of the gender dynamics and the society that we live in. And apart from like the Pharmacies and Poisons Board just, issuing an advisory statement on the same, even from my Instagram feed, when I looked at my Instagram feed this morning, I could still see the same page. Even from the exact page that I was trying to shop from, they're still up. And in fact, I think they're using the clout now to even advocate even further for their products. So I think apart from just issuing an advisory, I think the government should take even a further step and just, I don't know where the mandate stops, or whether this is the mandate of another government institution. They need to take down these pages. Maybe KEB should come in and just even issue a statement as well and flag these products. And there's also the issue of social media platforms, and what is Facebook, what is Instagram, what is YouTube doing in regard to the same, because Yoni pearls violate most of the community guidelines of such platforms. But because of the algorithms of social media platforms, and because content creators with high followings are pushing such products, that's why they keep on being used by most women. So I think there's need, apart from issuing the advisory statement, I think much more needs to be done.
Okay, so Dr. Pam, I'll come to you to respond to that on the issue of enforcement. And, more, other than reporting an account, would you engage Facebook directly? Because Facebook, Meta, let me call it Meta, Facebook, Instagram. But we have a caller, Mary from Lodwar. Mary, do you have a question for our panel this morning?
Morning, habari yenu mtangazaji.
Niko salama, na wewe?
Familia hawa madaktari wako kwa studio hawa wasichana hawa.
Nimewasalimia tena sana.
Sasa shida yenu mnaongea Kiingereza peke yake, sisi hakuna nasoma naenda shule. Na nimesikia mnasongea maneno ya product sijui ni nini, maneno ya vaginal sijui nini. Ninaona tu mko na agenda mzuri, lakini sasa mkiongea kwa Kiingereza peke yake, mengine sisi tuko reserve, hatukusoma, na mnaona mna agenda mzuri sana. Muongeze kidogo Kiswahili, kidogo Kiingereza, sisi wenye patu soma tuelewe. Nimesikia maneno ya Kiingereza kidogo iko product wanaweka huko ndio huko iruti kwe kidogo. Sasa mimi nauliza kama nyinyi mnataka kuattract wanaume wasitoke nje, waende kutafuta tongolo na maisha gani ni ya maana? Is it life ama hii vitu vingine yenye hii wasichana wetu wanarokota? Lakini nilikuwa nataka niseme hivi, kama hii kitu ni mbaya. Nimesikia Kiingereza moja na jamii pata enda shule, nilienda saa 8. Hii ya wenye walichelewa samani. Nimesikia Kiingereza moja, ingine napita, ingine nakucha, ingine napita.
Tumesikia Mary.
Huko chini.
Aya, sawa. Tupunguze kizungu. Tupunguze kizungu. Mary, tumekusikia. Mary speaking to us there from Lodwar. So I don't know whether we will mix the English and Kiswahili. She's saying she's missing some of what we are discussing. But Mary, tunaweza panga tukue na debate kwa Kiswahili mjadala, tukue na mjadala kwenye NTV sasa au NTV sasa. I think Nuru Abdulaziz nitamwambia awaite tena mzungumze sasa kwa Kiswahili. But Dr. Pam, on the question, like, where does PPB's mandate end? Do you, like, issue a public notice and that's all you can do?
No. So what happens, as I had said earlier, when you conduct investigations and you have a medical claim, then PPB, the CAP 244, gives us a mandate to prosecute. Then we can be able to prosecute this person. Yeah, so we are hoping that by the time the investigations are conducted, then we should be able to have people taken to court for this. Basically on the basis of a medical claim, and the product is not registered with the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. And it's important also to note that, as Agatha said, this actually requires a multi-stakeholders involvement. It's not just PPB. And probably here also I'll be looking at KEBS. I'm assuming that probably these products were approved by one of the government agencies. If not PPB, then there is a government agency that is responsible for allowing it in the market. And so it would actually require different stakeholders to get involved in this. And I'm happy that the conversation is taking place, probably with the media being part of this, just enlightening the public that this is happening.
Okay.
So yeah, at the end of it all, we hope to take some people to court.
Okay, so it's a prosecutable offense. Is it false advertising or?
Yeah, it's false advertising and having a false claim on a product and just misleading the public.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if there are adverse health effects that result from the use or that goes into the DPP's mandate now?
If there is adverse effect, again, that is still the mandate of Pharmacy and Poisons Board, and pharmacovigilance is basically safety of these products that are placed in the market. So we are the ones, again, who will monitor the safety of this product. So if there are any adverse events, then again, it comes back to PPB. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Kizungu mingi, but something that came up, that popped up in mind for me, Dr. Rita, is, I mean, this is something I assume that it's not just the Yoni pearls now, but you hear about garlic, and garlic can help with infections and such. You hear about, is it boric? Yeah. Boric, is it? I don't want to say acid because that will probably be bad, but bicarbonate, So there are a lot of natural, by the time, because me, even when I have a flu, by the time I go see the doctor, nile yani imenizidi, but generally I will self-medicate. I'll be like, sore throat, niseme, okay, ginger, garlic, honey. So I mean, there must be natural ways to address some of these conditions. So if I see Yoni and he tells me natural.
Yeah. I get your concern, Olive, and I think when we started this show, for those who are not here earlier on, you mentioned that when a product says it treats everything, that's the first red flag. You can't have a product in the market that caters for infertility, caters for endometriosis, caters for urinary tract infection, yeast infection. We don't even have the pharmacist can tell us, we don't have a product that cures everything, yeah? And when you look at a product advertising itself as natural, We have mechanisms with which we can alter your body to be able to improve your state, to improve your immunity. We have, it's not necessarily just giving antibiotics. No, that's not how it works. There are certain things that you can use to alter the pH of your urine, to reduce the frequency with which you get urinary tract infections. And all these things are things that are authorized by the pharmacist, the poisons board, and we prescribe them. So they are ingredients that are natural, yes, that we can prescribe. But then when you get, I think the issue here, like Agatha mentioned, is there could be a reason for different people why they're hesitant to see doctors, yeah? People have different reasons why they would be hesitant to see a gynecologist or a medical practitioner, general practitioner. But then the natural products that we'd use, let's say to alter your urine pH and just to be able to control, let's say, recurrent urinary tract infections, these are products that are in the market that are authorized, that we prescribe. Yes, so then it's not you deciding for yourself what you're going to put down there, what you're going to drink or what you're going to swallow to help in terms of your urinary tract system and your reproductive system. My bottom line in this discussion is, it may seem costly to pay one visit to a doctor, but then that one visit can save you spending more money. You see, I was going through the article Agatha wrote, and the Yoni Pearl, I think 3 of them are going for 1,000 shillings or so, depending on who you buy it from. And some of the legitimate products that we use to treat the different sorts of issues that women might be having in their reproductive system would probably be way less. Some medications are way less, probably half the cost of what you'd buy Yoni Pearl for. So I tend to feel that the cost could be an issue, but it's not an issue per se. I think it's about perception. It's about what people, the information people have more access to, and that is where social media comes in, yeah? When I say something is natural, yes, we doctors use certain natural products, but they have to be authorized first. I should be able to put it in a prescription and say, this is going to do this. It's not an antifungal, it's not an antibiotic, but it is this molecule which will work this way for your health, for this particular concern, yes. But then if I was to say use anything natural, then that's like an open check you're giving to the public who have different level of education, different levels of understanding, different level of exposure, and that open check can become very dangerous in our society, and that's what's happening with Yoni Pearl right now.
Okay, so I need to take a break, but when we come back, Dr. Nelly, antibiotics, something that has been raised severely, and the side effects, and pharmacists have been accused, kitu kidogo, nakimbia pharmacy hata sitishi prescription, shika antibiotics. Side effects, tatuambia on the other side of this break.
Today, a subpoena owes anything to your crazy daughter. Why do you need a fake passport?
None of your business. Give me back what you've stolen and I'll leave.
Yana, you need to go to the hospital. I've already called the ambulance. You aren't going anywhere this time.
I'll never leave you again.
But I know that meat looks tender, but maybe not so much when your chest is burning. Remember what happened the last time? Hey, dude, you don't listen, man. Are you testing yourself? I tried looking out for you, bro. Hey, you see now? How's the heartburn? Look now, it's burning.
Do not hold back in any situation. Eno gets to work on the 6 symptoms of heartburn fast.
You do know you said all of that out loud, right?
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Kama we physically piga mayowe Physically, physically. Come on, me shoot shabe. Typically, typically. Come on, malayika baby.
To get Physically, dial *811*933#.
Skiza, non-nation.
Centum Real Estate offers you an opportunity to own a home at the Two Rivers development. Mzizi Court residents, talk to us today on 0703 262626 or text 2 Rivers to 22365.
All right, welcome back to AM Live, and we're discussing intimate feminine hygiene and the products, vaginal products that have been marketed out there. How safe are they for you to use? What are some of what you need to think about and consider before you use some of these products? Dr. Nelly, before we took the break, the question of pharmacists. Naingia pharmacy, kidogo antibiotics.
Yeah.
And so what are the ramifications thereof where our vaginal health is concerned?
All right. Okay. So some of the infections that, women get down there, in their vagina that will prompt you to, to want to self-medicate are actually, bacterial infections. You could also have a fungal infection. And most of the times what happens when you self-medicate, you don't know what you're sick with. Like Doc mentioned, the right way is for them to actually, gynecologist to actually take a swab, it's cultured, and then we see, okay, this is the microbe that you have, and therefore we will treat it with this antibiotic that will respond to it. But if I wake up one day and go to the pharmacy, I don't know which infection I have. Could be a fungal infection. I go ahead and get an antibiotic. So I take it, and then after 1 month, this problem is still there. I'm like, okay, let me go and get a stronger antibiotic. So I get another one. The problem still goes on. You see, what actually happens is that, as I think was alluded to earlier, there are normal bacteria that are present in your vagina, and they're there to actually protect you. So they actually form a physical barrier, So the normal healthy bacteria, they attach themselves to your vagina, and therefore any pathogenic bacteria cannot pass through, and cause your vagina to get sick. What they also do is that they produce a certain acid we call lactic acid, which maintains the pH of the or the environment of the vagina as acidic. So this acidity prevents the growth of of other bacteria or other pathogens that will cause you vaginal infections. So when you consistently take antibiotics that are not prescribed, you are actually eroding this normal bacteria. So over time, you no longer have the protective bacteria, and therefore you're more exposed. Now you become, it's like you don't have a barrier or a protective layer on your vagina. So now you become very susceptible to any and every infection. So actually you find that the use of unprescribed or unindicated antibiotics actually increases your chances of getting reinfected. So you always find this person who's always saying they're always having this discharge, they're always having a smelly vagina, but it's because you actually predisposed yourself to this. And that's why you hear many women are saying, I don't want to go to the doctor because they'll give me an antibiotic. But you'll actually find that before they actually go to the doctor for an antibiotic, they've taken several rounds of antibiotics themselves. So the right way is that, you go to a doctor, you get swabbed, we know what this infection you have. Is it a yeast infection? Is it a bacterial infection? And if it's a bacterial infection, what is it susceptible to? What can it respond to? Because there's a lot of what we're calling antimicrobial resistance. So you find that maybe this infection that you have is no longer responding to this antibiotic that you're taking. So it might actually be the right antibiotic you've been given, but it's not working. So you're taking it over and over again, but it's not working because it's like a blank. There's no bullet there. So the right way is to actually get a swab and get it cultured. Of course, it's unfortunate that these drugs are actually being sold over the counter by medical professionals who have been trained. But there's a lot of even continuous medical education being offered. I know PPB supporting a lot of that. There's also a lot of initiatives by the government on antimicrobial stewardship. So even us as doctors, we're being retrained and retrained that this don't just administer antibiotics. If you come to my pharmacy and you want a certain antibiotic, the right thing for me to ask is, do you have a prescription? Do you what are you suffering from? So if you tell me you just have a cough, I should actually tell you, if it's just a sore throat, there's a better, there's an alternative medication that's not an antibiotic. That's the right way. That's the right pharmacy practice. Yeah. So. And I know that's what all medical bodies, what PPP, what we are medical schools, that's what they advocate for. Yeah.
Okay. Just a quick follow-up to that. If I am legitimately on antibiotics for a different condition, would that impact the balance of good bacteria and pH level? And so then what can I do to guard against?
All right. Yeah, so actually they do. So when you take an antibiotic, let's say for an infection in your GIT or in your digestive system, yeah, it definitely will affect the pH and the normal flora in your vagina. So there are products that are called probiotics and prebiotics, yeah. So there are actually many scientific studies that have been done, in support of evidence-based care. So a probiotic is something like, it can even be found in something like yogurt. So these are things that that lead to they are live microorganisms. So a probiotic is a live microorganism. So a microorganism is like a bacteria, a live bacteria, which when administered into the body can actually protect, it actually has a health benefit. So you find that for people who are, on very high dose antibiotics or on antibiotics, you'll find some doctors actually prescribing or advising you to take that antibiotic along with a probiotic. Because, for instance, a probiotic for vaginal health would contain lactobacilli, and these are the bacteria that are found in the vagina. So as you're taking this antibiotic, you're also taking the probiotic, the live, unharmful bacteria that will now go, and as this antibiotic is depleting your bacteria, the probiotic is replenishing your bacteria. And like I said, there are natural things, even sour milk, maziwa mala, yogurt, and there are also something we call the pre. So the prebiotic, what they do, they provide nutrients for the healthy bacteria to proliferate. So something to grow, to increase. So things like high fiber foods, beans, some fruits like kiwi, raspberries, or oats. These are high fiber foods that can promote the growth of these healthy bacteria. So I hear us here talking about women and the pressure to maintain vaginal health. So why not, go for these prebiotics or probiotics that are naturally found? You can easily have, a yogurt can go for even 50 bob. Take yogurt to replenish your normal bacteria, and as you're taking these antibiotics, also try to have these normal, easily affordable, simple products to help replenish your normal bacteria.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Agatha, I don't know, were you satisfied with Dr. Pam's answer on the enforcement and...
I think at the moment it's good that the PPB has issued an advisory statement, but as I said earlier, I don't think it's enough because as I said, as I was browsing through my Instagram feed, there's still these Instagram retailers that are still, selling these products. So pending the investigation by the PPB,
the testing,
yes, and the testing, which may take a while actually, I believe that farmer action should be taken by the government. So apart from just issuing that and initiating an investigation, my suggestion would be to actually make these pages pull down their products pending their investigation. I think that would be a better short-term measure to take so that we protect these women from such unscrupulous products. Because as we all know that, under Article 43 of the Constitution, the right to reproductive health care should be ascertained for women in Kenya. So leaving these retailers to keep on selling these products pending your investigation might not work, because in the duration of your investigation, a lot of women might still be purchasing. And remember, this is happening because of limited access to reproductive health care information. So let's just stop the spread, first of all, of these products, and then afterwards, you can issue a statement on your investigation.
Although her being here, I think, is also part of the proactive engagement of the public, where we are raising awareness. Because I was listening to Agatha, and it struck my mind because you talked about shoppers. Sometimes you go and mystery shoppers and all of that, and you go and you investigate. But then I'm imagining on the online space, right? If there's a page on Instagram, unless they have a shop that's listed, that's whose address is indicated on the page, nitawatoa wapi?
And actually, that is one of the issues that is raised in the article. How do you regulate social media spaces such as Instagram? I remember these are multinational companies, but then when you look at the community guidelines of Meta, of Facebook, of Instagram, these particular retailers are actually violating the community guidelines because they're selling miracle solutions purporting to have medical backing when in fact they do not. So one of the measures that such platforms usually advocate for is you report the page. But there's only so much you can do. Sometimes you report the page, but you still, when you search for it, you still find it. That's why at the end of the article, we advocate for the government, either through the regional mechanisms such as the East African Community, or either through the African Union, so they can be able, because there's power in numbers, they can be able to bring big tech companies such as Meta, such as Instagram, to come on the table so that they can negotiate for safer communities for women, especially in online spaces. So PPB might only issue an advisory statement, but really the root of the matter is these social media platforms. So I think without infringing on the right of freedom of speech, I think that the government needs to step in terms of regulation.
All right, so I found the paragraph. Leah Kimathi, the convener of the Council for Responsible Media, says Kenya can advocate for better regulation through the African Union and regional frameworks such as the East African Community to negotiate with big tech companies. And I remember you saying it's a multi-sectoral, it needs to be a multi-sectoral approach. And I imagine these online streets are difficult to police because if it's a pharmacy that is physically the Koinange Street, Kimathi, whatever street, you can walk in and search and seize and all of that. But then the online space, what has been your experience with that?
It's actually for PPB, especially this online advertisement of even pharmacies. It's a new thing that is coming up. We have new pharmacies that operate online, have a license for that. So this is a new space. But when you look at the mandate of PPB, when it comes to regulating the social media platform, that is not within our mandate. So we will issue our statement, we'll do the investigation, the mystery shopper, but when it comes to social media platforms, I think that is the Ministry of Communications or a different ministry that should be able to handle that.
Okay, so there are restrictions.
Again, as I said, it's a multi stakeholders involvement, not just PPB. So we'll actually require even communications authority. At times you find that we go for Jumia platform, they do a lot of advertisement of medical product. So we have to work with the communications authority again to, probably hold them accountable for using the platform to advertise for their products, including medicines, which they don't have a license. So again, as I will reiterate what I said, that PPB will issue a statement, will do an investigation, and just work within their mandate. Probably we need to involve now other stakeholders in the government, in the ministries, different ministries, to try and handle this issue of online.
Okay. I'm just curious about pharmacies who retail online. Are they only allowed to retail medication that does not require prescription, or are they required to institute a mechanism where even in that space they can verify that this medication has actually been prescribed?
They are actually licensed to even sell products through a prescription, so they get a prescription. But as I said, again, it's still a new area because we've also raised a lot of queries for us as pharmacovigilance in the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, because when you're looking at adverse drug reaction or adverse events, then how do you handle it in the online space? Because I need to explain clearly to a patient, this is what you will be expecting, and when you experience this, then you need to report 1, 2, 3 through certain channels.
Okay.
So yeah, they are allowed to sell both over the counter and also the prescriptions. And again, as I said, this is still a new area that we are regulating, and we are hoping that we should be able to, solidify and be able to make sure that even the online prescriptions, then people are able to be guided appropriately when it comes to the medication use, and if they have any adverse effects, who to contact and how to report the same.
All right. Yeah. So, Dr. Rita, a couple of quick fire questions that were sent my way. So you told us when you're wiping, front for women, front to back, whether it's number 1 or number 2.
What do you mean number 1 and number 2?
Pee, poop.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So front to back, so where do I start?
So generally when you pee, you'd dab, yeah? If you look at the anatomy of the reproductive system, the external genitalia, yeah? So the urethra is above the opening of the vagina. Where you pass urine is above the opening of the vagina, and the anal region is below. So look at it like 3 holes, yeah? Aligned, yeah, but in very close proximity to each other. So when you pee, you're likely to just dab yourself with something and with tissue and throw it away, right? When you're wiping, because you've gone to the bathroom for a long call, then you need to wipe from front to back. The whole point is the poo has organisms, yeah, that can cause infection, yes. So then if you wipe from back coming to the front, yeah, where the opening of the vagina is, then you're transferring microorganisms, yeah? You're transferring the pathogens from the poo to the vaginal opening, and then you get what we call ascending infection. These organisms are able to travel into your vagina and cause infection. They're able to travel into your urethra and cause infection. So that's the whole point of saying wipe from front backwards. It's just to avoid transferring organisms from your poo back to your vagina and to the urethra. Yeah.
Okay. Washing.
Yeah.
What do we need? Do we need, okay, the Femi-Freshes and all of this?
Now, what we say about this is, like I mentioned earlier when the show was starting, the vagina cleanses itself. You do not have to douche. You do not have to put a pipe inside the vagina or whatever it is. The products come in different forms. Yeah? You do not have to insert anything to splash your vagina or to do anything there. All you need to wash is wash the outside. Yeah? Yes, clean your outside. Warm water, just clean your outside, but you do not have to insert anything. You do not have to...
The products I'm referring to are like special shampoo, which we are told will restore the pH or will ensure that the pH of that region is balanced.
No. We avoid,
or the correct pH.
Yeah, the vagina cleanses itself, so we avoid using products in the vagina. There's no special shampoo, special soap. We advocate for non-fragrance soap when washing down there, but what we are saying is when I refer to down there, I mean the external genitalia. I do not mean that you wash the vagina. Yeah, it's like saying, look at it like your ears. Yeah. So look at it as if your ear is the external genitalia, it's the outside. So I'm saying wash outside here, wash your pinna. But I'm not saying, so assume the ear canal, yeah, is the vagina. So I'm not saying get into the ear canal and start cleaning it. So if you use that analogy, yeah, so bring it back to the table. Wash outside, non-fragrant soap, just warm water, just wash outside there. But then nothing should go inside your vagina. It's able to clean itself. I think people are struggling with that conception that your vagina can clean itself, and it comes back to what she said, that the societal pressure, everyone is like, I think to sustain a relationship, to sustain a marriage, there are all kinds of things. Someone wants to put a strawberry scented item in there. literally your vagina does not need anything. It has glands. The cervix has glands. It produces substances that are able to cleanse the whole tract coming out. Yes, so then you do not need to use shampoo, a special shampoo in there. You do not have to use special wipes for your vagina. No. All we are saying as gynecologists is wash the outside. The vagina will cleanse itself. You do not have to insert anything or spray it with water or splashes, no.
But you know, there are certain situations. There are two I'm thinking about off the top of my head. One, that time of the month. It's the protocol they say?
Yes. That time of the month, actually the epithelium that she was talking about, Dr. Nettle was talking about, is very vulnerable. Yeah? And also the blood that is coming out can be an eaters for infection. Let the blood flow. Yeah? So if you're using a tampon, ensure you change regularly. If you're using a pad, change it regularly. But you do not need to insert anything to clean the vagina when you're on your periods. The blood flows out from the uterus, uterine wall that is shedding, all the way through the cervix to the vagina. It flows out by itself. You do not have to splash the blood out. You do not have to wash it out. Yes. The uterus has a way in which it will propel that blood out. It will ensure we have a one-tract flow unless there is an obstruction for one reason or another, but actually the blood should be able to flow out. You do not need to use special routines or special cleaning mechanism. All we say during your menses is ensure proper hygiene. Because if you stay with the pad for 12 hours, 24 hours, that blood that is there is also, like I've said, an eaters for infection. It's like a good medium where bacteria grow, yeah? And so if you stay with these tampons, pads for so long, you're putting yourself at risk of getting infections. But then it doesn't mean you start douching, washing the vagina, no. Just maintain normal general hygiene and hygiene of the perineal area.
All right. Well, I may not be inserting or splashing water inside. There's the outside, and then there's the opening. What do I do with the opening?
The opening, you know, I wish there was a diagram I would illustrate for you.
let me pull up.
I think because people are able to Google, let me use the right words. There's the labia. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So then, if you look at the female anatomy on the outside, you have. I'm trying to get the right word that also will be acceptable and at the same time very basic and not derogatory. They're like two flips. Yeah. So they're huger flips on the outside, what we call the labia majora. I think you're almost getting a diagram.
I
think the fifth diagram.
The fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one?
Here.
This one or the other one?
I think the diagram on the side where you are should do.
Okay.
I don't know what's on it. I can't see it clearly from my end.
Okay. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. Go ahead,
okay.
Go ahead.
So then as you get it, so you have labia majora, you have labia minora. These are like folds, yeah? But remember, these are folds that also have glands on them, yeah? So what we are saying is clean the outside. These flips cover the opening that we were talking about. It covers what we call the introitus, the opening to the vagina. So then it's like a protective mechanism also, yeah? So we are saying don't find a way, if you're patting them, you're patting to just splash warm water around that area. But we are not saying pat them so that you start rubbing them with cloth and soap. That's not what we are saying here. Warm water is adequate. Just splash water around there. Now, in between those flips that I'm talking about is the opening of the vagina. Nothing should go beyond that opening in terms of washing. No serviette, no soap, no shampoo, no water being splashed inside there. Yes, because different people have different products that they come with to the clinic just to show you and ask you, Doc, am I using the right thing? But honestly, when you look at it, it's something that she's been told to insert in the vagina to clean the vagina. No, I'll overemphasize this, that the vagina cleans itself. All you need to wash are the flips outside there, yes? The places, I don't know, I would explain it better with a diagram, but I think you get my point.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a PG image. I'm not entirely sure what. But this one looks safe enough.
That's inside. Okay, so maybe we can use this.
Okay, this is the inside.
Just scroll it up a bit. So you realize what we are saying is, just to get back to the initial question you had asked me, like if tampons can get lost or something, The tampons land there where you see written vagina. Like it's like a canal, yeah? So it lands there. It doesn't go beyond the cervix unless you're intentionally pushing it through into the cervix. So it won't get lost. If you forget it and you get to see us, we just do what we call a speculum exam and pull it out, yeah? A very simple exam and just get it out for you. Let's say you forgot it or you're having this discharge and we want to look at it and then we find a foreign body there. But then the flips that I'm talking about, this is an image of the internal reproductive system, yeah? What I'm talking about is outside. So
I don't know whether there's a fruit I can find that kind of like depict.
It's okay. But this uterus, cervix, vagina does not need cleaning. Whatever you're seeing on the screen right now does not need cleaning.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I said two instances, two special instances. After the intimate act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the intimate act, we advise that you go to the bathroom and pee. That is the first thing. Pee after having coitus. In medical terms, we call it coitus, like after having sexual intercourse, go to the bathroom and go for a short call. The reason we are saying this is during that act of penetration, foreplay, and all that, you can introduce bacteria to the urethra. Remember I said look at it like 3 openings in close proximity to each other, that you can introduce bacteria to the urethra, and that's why you need to pee so that whatever bacteria had got, let's say, to the opening of the urethra can just be flushed out. That's the first thing. The second thing is you do not have to wash in there. Yes, you just wash outside. Yes, whatever it is. Now, it depends also, were you using a barrier or not, yeah? I'm assuming that if you're not using a barrier, then, and if it was not withdrawal coitus, then it means the sperm are in and you wanted them to go in, so you're not trying to wash out sperms, yeah? So then what happens is once you've had coitus, and we are talking about consented coitus, so once you've had coitus, then you wash outside. There is no reason for you to splash anything into your vagina for any reason, yes. Whatever it is will flow out. Whatever secretions you had will still flow out. Do not introduce things into the vagina. And these are some of the issues that are bringing the recurrent infections. These are some of the practices that bring, because someone feels like, maybe if I splash soapy water inside there, I'm cleaning the vagina of any bacteria. No. You're actually making us lose the normal flora, the normal bacteria that is there, then making yourself susceptible to infections. Yeah. Okay. So then after coitus, wash outside. Pee, wash outside, don't wash your vagina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steaming. Are we supposed to steam?
What are you steaming? Are you steaming your face or you're steaming
I've never done it, I don't know. But
when I say you, I say in general, the people you're asking the question on their behalf. So you don't steam. We do not advocate for vaginal steaming. I know there are practices that more or less like commercial things, like the things we are dealing with right now, Yoni pulse and all that. I want to make my salon sell better. I want to have varied products. So come for vaginal steaming. It literally has no health benefit to you. You do not have to steam your vagina for anything. It does not make your epithelium better. It does not make the tone of your vagina any better. It does not change anything in terms of your reproductive tract system. We do not advocate for steaming, yes. Okay. If you're feeling uncomfortable in any way, if you're feeling itchy and that's the reason you're thinking of steaming, if you're feeling uncomfortable, that's the reason you need to see your gynecologist, not to go for steaming, yes. Steaming, we do not advocate for steaming of the vagina, yeah.
Okay. Somebody is, I'm sorry, I'm being asked by my director that when somebody has given birth and I'm assuming stitches and they're told to sit in water with salt, hot water, is it hot or warm water with salt?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
So what we do nowadays is, remember this practice, how it started was, it's just an attempt to soothe the area, yes. But then how many houses have these special baths for women to sit on? Most of the women, you'll realize they're struggling with a basin, yeah? Imagine having given birth, sustained tears down there, and then you want to struggle, put your bum in a basin, yeah? Most households in Nairobi or even in the village, who has bathtubs in the village, you know, all those kind of things. So then we advocate for washing there with warm water. Just wash that place with warm water, yeah, and maintain your hygiene. And the doctor will also be able to assess, whoever like carried out the delivery, the gynecologist will be able to assess the extent of the injury, and if we need to do what we call empiric treatment also, yeah, to cover you, to protect you from getting infections and all that. But then splash that place with warm water. Just warm water is adequate, because sometimes what we encounter is in attempt to fit and sit, you end up loosening our stitches. Yeah, the stitches give way. So we just advise stand in a shower, splash that place with warm water. You have if you have the telephone showers, yeah, just splash the outside there with warm water. That's all you need, and pat it dry. That's it. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't catch that question. Sorry, the questions are coming through SMS and.
I get you.
The what? The what? Oh, okay. Lubricants. Are they safe?
So for the lubricants, I'm assuming whoever is asking about the lubricants used during sex. Yes. So we advocate for water-based lubricants. Yeah, these are lubricants that are and when you buy a lubricant, it should be indicated, yeah, that it is water-based lubricants, and also it should not be scented. Yeah, so when you're having, because that is the issue we are having. You're having multiple products in the market, yes, vanilla scented, strawberry scented, and these are the issues that's causing us these recurrent infections that we are dealing with, that's making people go for unregistered things like Yoni pearls, yeah? So then use water-based lubricants that are not scented. Yes, okay. That's what I can say about the lubricants.
All right, and why am I forgetting this question, somebody? If you can just remind me, yes, the smell.
Yeah.
Does what I eat
come through your vagina?
It affects how it smells? Because somebody shared something with me on WhatsApp, something called miski, some sort of fragrance for the area. I can forward it to you. Let me forward it to you. But does the food I consume affect, I've said it to you, but does the food I consume affect how I smell down there? And if I want to change the smell down there, what can I do?
Okay.
Assuming it's not a foul smell. I don't even know if it has a smell. Is it supposed to have a smell?
I think, no. There's a natural scent. Yeah. Everyone has a natural odor.
A mask.
Yeah, yeah. There's a natural scent to everything. And I think what you've shared with me are these, from what I've seen, they're like perfumes. Yeah, like these are small bottles of perfumes.
Yeah.
So this is coming from a point of view that we are in a very patriarchal society. Yeah, and we have different reasons for doing the things we do. But the bottom line is, you do not have to splash anything down there or spray down there to smell different. Yes. You can use your scents on your clothes. Fine. Use your scents on your body the way you spray your perfume if you want to mask your natural odor. But then you do not have to spray anything on your external genitalia or in your vagina in attempt to mask the smell. That place has a natural odor that usually blends with your odor itself, unless you're having a foul-smelling discharge. Yeah, unless there is something that is off for which you need to see a doctor.
And that is something you would notice.
And that's something you'd notice, yeah. But otherwise, you do not need to splash perfumes on your vagina or on your external genitalia for any reason. If you feel like you want to smell vanilla today, splash your body or use a body splash on your body, but not down there. Okay. Yeah, and I think this is coming from societal pressure.
Okay,
yeah.
Really, really quickly, 10 seconds. Cranberry juice for UTIs?
Yes, we prescribe them, yeah. But remember, if I say if I give you an open check, and that's why we are having recurrent UTIs, you'll get a product that is written cranberry, and inside it you do not have cranberry. Yeah. So like I mentioned earlier on, we have natural products that have been shown, and research has been done and shown to be safe. But then allow us as your doctors, allow us as your gynecologists to be the one to prescribe these products for you. Because then I'm able to control what exactly am I prescribing. Is it registered or not registered? Please do not prescribe these things for yourself.
Okay. Yeah. So I will have Dr. Rita back. I will compile these questions. There are so many. I'm sorry, I can't go through all of them. They've been feeding me through the phone and through my ear. And the one for pineapple to help that area smell better?
Like
or smell nice, I don't know. Pineapple as a fruit? For the vagina?
No.
Consuming a lot of pineapple.
Consuming a lot of, I thought inserting pineapple.
Oh, no, consuming pineapple.
No, I haven't read research that shows pineapple is good for your vagina. Yes, unless it's a study that's coming up that you need to look into, but I haven't come across that. So maybe you eat it for the nutritional benefit, okay, but nothing to do with your vagina. Yeah.
All right. Aya, mepata majibu. I want to thank my panelists. I'm sorry, a lot of interest on this topic, and I want to thank Agatha Gishana for making this conversation possible, for highlighting the gaps that exist, the information gaps that exist, the regulatory gaps that exist, and making it and pushing us to raise, and doing the same with your platform, raise public awareness around this issue. We've also had in studio Dr. Nelly Nagas, pharmacist. She's taken a bit of heat from me on behalf of other pharmacists. We've also had in studio Dr. Pamela Nambwa, pharmacovigilance specialist, pharmacy and poisons. And thank you for being here this morning and helping us unravel some of these issues. And finally, Dr. Arogo Rita, thank you so very much, obstetrician and gynecologist, Kenyatta National Hospital. I will now allow you to get back to your daily lives, but thank you for being here. My name is Olive Burrows. This has been AM Live. We have Winnie Lubembe coming up, a conversation on parenting, because these are the conversations as we are raising our children we should be having. Have yourself a good morning.